So I'm back, and I'm in the kitchen this time. I've had to close this blind because of the light glaring. But yeah, I've been on this a bit, so I've been doing more work obviously. As you can see from the neck, it hasn't quite gone how I wanted, but you know what, I'll have to live with it. With that, some bits like weren't working out, but today I got this mesh, and I've been doing the traditional method, you know what I did on this one where it was fabric and then the mesh, which if you're currently looking for some, I found this at the pound shop. You get 2 of them, and yeah, barbecue trays. That'll also be good for the Death Zone Dalek when I finish it. But anyway, going from that, and this is currently its final height, it'll be standing at 4 foot 8 inches. So yeah, it don't look like a lot. Never does. The dome looks about the same as last time, but I used the high coat paint, and I've just done a bit on this. The bottom one needs a little more work. If it'll focus. If I click it, will it focus? This camera is terrible. It really is. Trying to just focus on something. Anyway, yeah. I had to body fill these because of the timber like this under here. You can see the grain, and it still needs doing on that one, but I wanted to get the majority of it done. The thing that my dad hated, as he kept saying, you know, the wash basket, but now you can't really tell anymore, and I will be getting it in black. I did order black, but for some reason it came in grey, and because of how many times this is getting put over the top, the paint keeps chipping off, so I am going to need an actual plastic one in black. And you'll be probably wondering, why is there so much excess? So, me not being a great builder, I forgot to minus material to fit inside this. So when I start layering everything on, the bin, reason why this is not as high as it used to be about that height. So, you know, I had to lower it even more, and I don't actually mind it though, I will be honest. 60s Daleks did sort of have this look, which is what I'm going for. The other thing, next time when I come to doing a second one, because this I'll have to just do, because I'm not wasting more time and money. I did a method, because as I've done Imperial so many times, where this ring is 7 centimeters, next one's 6, and the next one's 5, and obviously they get smaller because they taper in. On normal Daleks though, on the very first ones, each ring is about, let's say, 7 centimeters, and they get smaller, but because I've made it like a pyramid, at first I didn't like it, and like I say, it'll have to do. But if I was to do a second one, each ring would obviously get smaller as it tapers in, but would stay the same distance, so that this dome looks smaller and the rings go out like a normal Dalek, like this, essentially. You know, these are all the same width, and the dome looks, you know, it goes down and then your rings go out, whereas this doesn't do that, obviously. And as you can tell from everything, yeah, I'm nearly getting there. This is just the half of it. There's all upstairs, all the stuff for the new house obviously. So the reason why you haven't been seeing a lot either, it's still getting caught in places, and here I am going from one bit to the other. So I've still got a bit more work to do, but you know what, and bits like this, if it'll come up on camera, really doesn't like it for some reason. Maybe if I click the button at the top it does it. Maybe that's it. I'm figuring it still out after all this time. But you can see this bit here, what I'm meaning. Really terrible, like the paint job, and it blistered. When I painted it and then left it, it sort of blistered, follow my finger, there. So, yeah, this isn't the final coat, obviously, because I've got a lot more work to do. This is just a base coat, so I first painted the entire thing with the Hammerite paint, the really thick stuff, but there was still the wood grain, like I say. So then I've used the 2-pack paint, and that's why it's now got a really nice finish. Obviously I can't properly put my hand on it and move it because this is dry, but this, you know, needs now a full 24 hours. And yeah, it's coming along nicely. I've mentioned how I'm going to have these coloured. I was tempted to keep them clear. I think for the black and the gunmetal grey one I will keep them clear. But this and these discs will match the coordinating Dalek, so these will be red. This will be yellow when it's done, like the Paradigm. I want a warm glow from them. And there's going to be a blue one and a emerald green, black, gold. Obviously now that I've gotten the proper paint this time, which I kept getting the wrong one, but here it is. If you remember these paints during 2020, these ones, I mean the Hammerite gold was close as well, but that, when I did it on the Eternal, if you remember that big build, yeah, it's so weird seeing everything pretty much nearly gone. But yeah, and oh, I'm going to keep, I was thinking, paint all this black, but I actually like the mesh being the silver, because it, you know, shows it, if I can, yeah, it does work. Thought it did. Pressing the button on top focuses it. Didn't know that. I was always clicking the screen. But yeah, and obviously this will be housed within the shoulders, and the shoulders are not going to take as long as like these, because they're going to be obviously skin, but in the front a massive gap's going to be cut out, because then a big box is going to be shoved in, literally just a box, no details or anything. The bottom band, obviously, it will hug more like this, because it's a 60s Dalek, so it'll be hugging rather than finning. I need to take into account, because I'm doing an old method where the back of it will be tilting on the Dalek, which is what I did on one of my other Daleks, so that's great for when you want to climb in, you tilt the back. Got to take in consideration the weight of this, because this so far is quite heavy, even though it's quite thin, but it's because in here there's all this timber. So I wanted to keep the neck as light as possible, and when it all gets bolted I need to put some weight in the bottom, so when it tips back and the arms are pointing up. Another thing you have to always know is when you tilt, your dome will tend to want to swing right round with the eye because of the weight of the eye. So you've got to, first when you're getting out of a Dalek like that, you turn your head towards the back and then you pull the back. Obviously when I'm on location and at Comic-Con I'll have someone, you know, helping you. You're never on your own when you're a Dalek operator. It's always good to have someone. So I'll probably have someone hopefully to, you know, help me get in and out, even though they won't have to lift anything. It'll just literally swing. So that'll make it a lot easier for me. And it's an old method, like I say. So all this will have to be bolted onto the shoulders. I've got an idea of, I can't do it now, I'm waiting until I get into the new house of when I get onto the skirt and the shoulders. I was trying to draw a picture, but I'm not great at drawing. But the concept of how the shoulders are going to be, is they're going to be, imagine like this, how they were built. You know, this is the skin. Instead of doing all this bulking out and then, you know, I'm going to be doing a similar method again where I've got the skin and I'll be adding another hardboard, and then I'll be, like the Imperial's not here, the old one. When marking out the location for the slats, I'll have to get a picture, but I'm going to be using a square to draw straight lines, and then I'm going to use a Dremel against the straight edge, and then Dremel them so they look like they're moulded into the actual fin. It's a tiny little detail, but it'll help give the impression of the slats, even though there's nothing going to be bolted, no rivets or anything like that. And that'll all be metallic red as well. Don't know if the slats will be a different colour, but I'm still thinking. And the skirt on this, the whole concept behind this is it's very slim and narrow, but it's in the style of like the Paradigms where they had really tall skirts and the bumps were more spaced apart rather than close together. So that's, like I say, from where I'm sat now, and you're sat where my point of view is with my eyes. So yeah, they are very small. And the camera's about to die. So anyway, I'll cut this here. It's not much, but it will do for this weekend. See you soon.